everybody, Midnight Chef here. Today we're making ribs, and we are not going to go out of our way to be all saucy and rubby and all of that, because you know what, most of the time it's just not necessary. We like simple food that's simple to make, simple to eat, right? Simple to store, simple to everything, right? So we're going to make us some ribs today. We got some baby backs that we got from the store, and you can see I've already started seasoning them, but I decided, hey, we should film this before we go too far. All I've got on here so far is some kosher salt and some coarse ground pepper. Really, really coarse ground. Let me show you what this looks like. Now this is, the pepper that you use is all going to be personal preference, right? So you can see the size of that pepper, right? So it's all going to be personal preference. If you like, you know, really, really fine, you know, table pepper, go for it, right? But I like a really nice coarse ground for my ribs. So I just put a decent amount of salt and pepper on there. I'm going to flip them. Ah, there we go. Nothing gross about that. And now I'm just going to salt and pepper them on the other side. You can see I'm putting a fair amount of salt, but I'm not going ridiculous with it. And you know, honestly, I don't know how many times I've said this, but I'm going to say it again because I'm not counting. Most of the time, I only use salt and pepper. I don't use a ton of extra spices or seasonings or put anything else on my food other than salt and pepper. Sure, I make curry and I make other things, right? But, you know, you live with me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We spend a lot of money on salt and pepper.
Well, not all that much, because salt and pepper is comparatively cheap.
Right. But yeah, we do, you know, we do make spaghetti, and we make, you know, curry stuff, and we make chili, and we make, I mean, of course I use more than salt and pepper on those things, but for most food, veggies and meat and fish and just everything that we make most of the time only has some kind of salt and some kind of pepper. So anyway, these guys are ready. I'm just going to slice them in half. Well, no, I'll put them on the grill whole. So I'm going to go put them on the grill here in a couple minutes when it gets finished getting hot. So the general method that we're going to look for here is, I love the smell of pepper on my hands, is I don't like to slow cook my ribs on the grill for hours. It's just not necessary, right? I put them on the grill to get a little char on them and to get that lovely taste. And then I finish them off in the oven like a roast. I just braise them in the oven. So when they're done, they'll probably be out on the grill for 10 or 15 minutes, right?
7 each side?
Yeah, give or take, right? Depends on how hot it is and how long it takes them to get a good char on them, right? And then I'll come in here, I'll slice them in half, and I'll put them in a pan with about that much water, with about an inch of water. Cover them with foil, put them in the oven at 300, and then let them cook for a couple hours. And that is absolutely perfect. And the bones just come out. You can barely pick them up out of the pan, right? So to me, that's a much better way to make it. I really don't like the over-smoked flavor that everybody gets into, right? Where it's so much you can't even taste the meat. And there's no need to take 9 hours to slowly smoke something. Oh, good God. So anyway, I'm more of a, I want to say a purist in that sense, but I don't know if that's a purist or not. But anyway, that's how I like to do mine. That's how we're going to do it. So I'm going to pause this right now, and then we'll come back with the grill in just a minute, and we'll see you soon. Well, okay, guys. So we're just under 500 here. It doesn't have to be that hot, but you know, I like to get mine that hot. And we're just going to take these guys. If I can get my tongs up under there for some reason. I can't seem to get them. There we go. And just slap those guys on there. It doesn't matter which side you do first, really. I need my good hand is what I need. There we go. I'll put these guys under there like that. Now, the issues you're going to have when grilling like this is you're going to have some flare-up, because these are pork ribs, and they do have some fat on them, and that fat's going to drip off into the fire, and it's even going to cause a flame to go overhead. But it's going to drip down on the fire, and it's going to cause flare-ups, and you're going to actually burn, right? So you got to keep an eye on it. This is going to slowly go back up, and I'll come out here like every 5 minutes or so and make sure that it's not flaring up, and if it is, then I'll turn it down and move them around just a little bit. So you don't really need to see the full management of that. I'll show you every now and then when something significant happens. And for that, let's just sit and let's wait for them.
You're actually
Okay,
ready.
so here we are. We are ready. We had one flare-up. Came out here and the grill was over 600. So I opened it up and turned these guys down by half and reduced the gas a little bit, left it open for a couple minutes. And it was on this side, but as you can see, we caught it really early and it's just got a lovely, lovely beginning of a char here. And now on the other side, we've got these lovely grill marks and how it's lovely brown right here, right? But it's not burned, it's just got a little bit of char started. This is absolutely perfect. We could go a little bit more if we wanted to, but I think we'll be okay. So I'm going to take these guys off here.
It's a clean pan, by the way.
Yeah, it's a clean pan. It's the same pan, but I cleaned it. Same thing with this guy. Look how beautiful that is. I need something stable I can put that on.
Oh yeah, good choice.
That'll work. And then you just make sure you turn your grill off. Always make sure you turn your gas off. All right, go ahead and pause that and we will see them inside. Are we going?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so here we are back inside. Now, the only thing left to do with these guys now is to cook them in the oven for a long time. So that they fit in the pan a little bit easier. I usually like to cut these guys in half. So I just pick a spot, go right down the bone like that. And you can see they're already cooked, right?
Yeah.
But that's not good enough. They won't be soft. So I'll put 2 in each pan because I think squeezing 4 in there is probably going to be a little bit much. So right about there. Gotta go from the other side. There we go. Right there. Actually, let me see if I can do this because. Oh, what do you think?
I don't know.
Try it.
What's the disadvantage of crowding them?
They won't be exposed to as much water.
It's not like
Yeah.
we're short on space.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and split it up into 2 pans. Let me move this guy. And I'm switching to these pans because they're deeper. I could have left them in whole in this one, but it doesn't hold as much water. So, all right, so I'm going to take each one of these guys like this. I'm going to put about an inch or so of water in there. Probably about that much water in there. It's really not rocket surgery, guys. It's not that big of a deal. Just don't put that much water in there. And don't cover them. And then I'm going to cover them with foil and put them in the oven at 300. I'll check them after an hour. You want to take them out of the oven when they're so incredibly soft. The bone, you go to grab one of the bones and you actually can't pick up the thing because the bone just comes off. That's how soft you want them to be. We can't make them here because our oven broke, so we've got to take them to your brother's. So we are going to foil these up and then water them on the other side, and you won't see these again until they're done. But I suspect that, it'll take an hour and a half to 2 hours. But that's just off the top of my head. I really don't know. Just, check it after the first hour and then every 30 minutes after that. And if you want to put barbecue sauce on yours, you're welcome to put sauce on them. I just like them like this. I always put sauce on mine, but today we're making something else with our ribs, and we'll talk about that later. See you on the other side. So we have our ribs done, and I've got the juice here that I took off of. And you can see I've got 2 distinct colors there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So that top color is the fat, and I'm going to drain the fat off, and then I'm going to reduce this a little bit because what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be making hot dogs out of our ribs. So I'm going to strip. Here's what they look like, right? And just to show you how easily that comes out of there, right? So I'm going to strip the bones out of the ribs. We're going to put them in our buns. We were going to make our own buns, but our oven broke. So we're going to put them in here. We're going to make them the basis for our hot dogs, and I'm going to reduce this after I get this fat out of here to have a lovely sort of pork jus for the hot dogs, and you're just going to be able to dip it in there. Now, one of the things that makes me able to do this is the fact that I did not overcommit on the char here, because if I had gone really, really charred and gotten a lot of black on the outside, which can be yummy, right? But it would make this really, really bitter. And you see how this is brown and it's not black, right? So that's how I'm able to do this, and it's not bitter in the least. I've tasted it already, and it's quite lovely. It's lovely, porky, with a very mild grill flavor. So now that I got this mostly done like that, I'm gonna put it, and I got a few little bits in there, so I'll just run it through this little strainer here as I put it through here. So I'm just gonna put it in my pan and reduce it probably by about half, just to concentrate the flavors. And you see I'm not coming up with a lot, but I got a little bit. And then I'll turn that up by high. Now with this, you can thicken it a little bit if you want to. I haven't decided if I'm going to or not. I might thicken it slightly so it sticks to the meat a little bit. But if I do, I'll use the pork fat that I took off of there, mix it with some flour, make a little sauce, and then we'll be done. And then you've got the rest of the whatever else you like to put in hot dogs, guys. Get off of hot dogs and start going with rib dogs instead. You'll be much happier.